What's going on, guys? BriarRabbit here. Today I've got a little something different for you. It's a little more theoretical than what I normally post on this channel. It's a little more pie in the sky, but I think I've built up quite a bit of evidence supporting this theory, and I think by the end of the video you may agree too. So let me just jump right into it. I think that the next Apple TV is going to be a game console, and I'm not talking kind of a Fire TV type game console where it plays Angry Birds or other kind of silly little games like this. I am talking about a real, honest-to-God gaming console that plays games like Battlefield 4 or Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm talking a real gaming console, something that a gamer will want to put in their living room. So I think I've got a lot of evidence here, and I'm going to present it. The first thing I want to talk about is Metal. So Metal was introduced at WWDC this year. That's the Worldwide Developer Conference, and it's where Apple often talks about new things that are coming up to developers. And Metal was one of their big announcements. Metal is a tool that allows developers better access to the hardware of Apple's A7 chip. The A7 chip is the processor inside Apple's iPhone, iPad, and well, that's it. It's the actual processor inside of those devices. Now, on stage at WWDC, Apple showed off a beautiful demo using the new technology, featuring individually rendered leaves and thousands of transforming butterflies. It really was. It was delightful, and it was beautiful. It was gorgeous. Now, it was just what you may expect to see from a console like the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. It wasn't like next level PC stuff, but it really looked at home with our current new gen consoles. Now, EA, Crytek, Epic, and Unity are all already working with Metal to improve iOS gaming according to Apple. So that means that some major publishers are already working with this new technology that Apple just introduced to make better games for your iPhone and iPad. But what if the next generation Apple TV includes the next generation Apple chip, which is probably going to be called the A8, and Metal? So instead of just playing games on your iPad and iPhone, all these games that all these publishers are creating are actually going to be available to play on your TV as well. So EA at the Worldwide Developers Conference actually showed off Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. This isn't a super news game, you know, it's an older game already, but it's significant in the Apple world because Plants vs. Zombies runs on EA's Frostbite engine, which is also powering Battlefield 4 and the upcoming Dragon Age Inquisition. So if they can already port these next-gen games to the iPhone and iPad, and the Apple TV actually gets similar technology, then there's nothing stopping them from bringing it to the Apple TV, and you can play it on a big screen, a 60-inch TV or whatever you have in your living room and that you have your Apple TV hooked up to. So here's what EA had to say about Metal. Apple's Metal technology in iOS 8 introduces a whole new level of performance that is unmatched in mobile today. With the ability to maximize gaming performance on the A7, that's the old chip, we can deliver a console-level experience on an iPhone or iPad. So that was EA talking about Metal, and it's pretty clear that they've already got console-level experience in their mind. And that's pretty exciting, not only if you have an iPhone or an iPad, but if you're thinking that the next Apple TV may include the same hardware as the next iPhone or iPad. So the next thing we got to worry about is how do we control these. Controlling games on an iPad and iPhone really has never been a good experience because those touchscreen controls don't really work well with traditional games. But last year, Apple announced a new developer kit that allows for traditional game controllers. And we've seen these game controllers come out. They already exist. Now, the first generation hasn't been too great. There's some restrictions on what Apple will allow the hardware to be. And, you know, there's improvements that can be made. But with iOS 8, hopefully we'll see those improvements. Hopefully we'll see a next generation of controllers for iOS 8, and they'll be just as good as the current generation of console controllers. That would be fantastic. So then, what you've got is a system where you can take a console controller and you can play an iPad game, an iPhone game, or that same game on your big screen TV. And you don't have to worry about AirPlay kind of causing lag because it's running natively on your Apple TV. This would be really exciting. The technology's already there for it. It's just a matter of actually having it release. So that to me is the most exciting stuff, and there's a bunch of stuff that kind of points to Apple being able to do this. So the first thing is that Apple generally doesn't enter categories where they're just going to compete, right? When they introduced the iPhone, they didn't introduce just another phone. They completely transformed the entire industry. Cell phones have not been the same since iPhone came out, right? It completely transformed everything. The same happened with the iPad. You know, they released the iPad. Tablet computers had been done before, but never like this. They'd always had kind of a desktop OS on them. This was something revolutionary. They took iOS and they put it on a tablet, and it worked magnificently, and they completely transformed the industry, completely killing off small notebooks. It was amazing. Now they have an opportunity to do this again, but we've also seen them hold off on stuff, right? We've seen that they, a lot of people have talked about, well, this rumored Apple TV, the rumored TV set manufactured by Apple. People have said they have seen prototypes of this, but it's never come out, it's never come out, it's never come out because, how is Apple gonna, transform this industry? There's really no way to do it. You're not gonna replace your TV every year when Apple introduces a new one. It's just not economically feasible. So we've seen that they've held off on things like this before, but I could see them really changing this industry. For the first thing, they don't really have to worry about retail partners, so they can price their games however they want, however publishers want, however Apple wants. They could completely eliminate companies like GameStop or Best Buy selling video games for the Apple TV, right? They already have the App Store. It works for iOS gaming. It would definitely work for, Apple TV gaming. They also don't have to worry about getting developers on board. They already have third-party support for iOS. Like, it's already built in. It comes along with the operating system for the Apple TV. So they don't have to worry about it at all. They're not going to get into a Nintendo situation where, they release a console and then they don't have any games for it. The games are already there. The games are developed for iOS. All you'd be doing is putting them on a bigger screen. There would definitely be some developer work to allow that to happen, but I mean, who wouldn't do that because, it's free money. So, I don't know. To me, I think there's strong evidence that Apple is going to release a new Apple TV that is also a game console. I think that's why Metal has been developed. I don't think that is just for your iPhone or just for your iPad. I think that is really a future technology that is going to allow for video games on the big screen in your living room. I think that EA, Crytek, Epic, and Unity all working with Metal already, that indicates that they know this too. That they are already ready for this console revolution from Apple. I'm pretty excited for this. Now, I'm admittedly a big Apple fan. Every computer in my house is an Apple. I use an iPhone, I use an iPad, and I look forward to seeing what Apple could do in the gaming space. It's something that they really haven't explored since the Pippin. And, I'm sure that there's going to be plenty of Pippin jokes in the comments for this video, but I could really see Apple transforming this, really adding something new to the gaming space. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think about Apple entering the, the console gaming space. Do you think I'm full of it? Do you think this is all pie in the sky stuff? Or do you think there's actually something there? Let me know down in the comments. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.